Like, hi. Do you hi?
Hello.
Or do you have your smart questions ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are they super smart? Or they're just sort of smart?
They're kind of smart.
Okay. Are you gonna try for the background or no, not at all? Like those days are over. Why?
You have 3? No.
Hey, Caitlin.
I have good photos.
Hi,
Tia.
Hi, sweetheart.
What's the background?
That's foreground.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've challenged Sebastian to be. I've challenged Sebastian to try to be smart, but we know how that's going to.
Sorry, that came out wrong.
Oh my God! I thought you were chugging a bottle of Jack Daniels just now. I was like, wow, it's real over there in Chapel Hill. Where are you? Are you in Chapel Hill?
I am in Chapel Hill.
It looks like you're downing a bottle of Jack Daniels right now. I see that now.
All right.
Are you gonna try a virtual background? No?
You want me to try a virtual background?
I thought that was something that we were doing.
Virtual background. You win.
I see your mirror, Bo. I can actually see you a little bit through.
The infinite mirror.
Yeah, I sort of see. What is that? Your lamp's in the way. Okay, Todd, you don't have to do it. I find I'm glaring in the back.
I know, it's really kind of distracting in some ways.
Some ways, always.
All right, well, we don't have to do it. Look, let's try and be smart. Oh, hey, smart girl.
Yeah.
Keep it going because Uncle Todd is a busy man. If we go over a certain time limit, where he's going to start charging us this consulting fee. I know. I don't know how to say. I don't know what else to say. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know how to stop it. None. Here we go. Okay, I'm back. All right. Hello, Todd. I've had 3 kids that watched our video that we did on the coronavirus. The really good one, the one that I did at 7 in the morning before anyone could cloud the whole discussion. So, and I tried to remember as well as I could the smart stuff you told me so I could say smart things to people. But a lot of stuff has changed since just a week. Isn't that kind of crazy just how quickly things go right now?
It is. It's very crazy.
And so this is like, I think it's in the middle of April, some point. I don't know what day it is because we're on a RonaCation. Sunday, maybe like the 17th or something. And I guess my update was more like lots of people are in hospitals here, but we don't see as many people getting, our numbers of aren't raising as rapidly as they used to. You're the same, right? New York people?
Yeah.
You're kind of plateauing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and the first smart thing I want to talk about, Todd, is the fact that I think that you said the last time we talked, I think, that about 80% of us are going to get the coronavirus, at least in the next year, right? Is that something that you remember saying?
Yeah, I mean, the estimate is between 50 and 80%, but I kind of err on the high side. And what's really unclear right now is actually how many people have actually gotten the disease already. Because I don't know if you hear, but there's reports, like they tested a prison population here in North Carolina, and there were 250 inmates that tested positive for the virus, and none of them were sick.
That's what's going on that boat, right? That USS Roosevelt, right? Isn't that, do you know about that?
I don't know about the US. I don't know that specifically. I've kind of.
That's the one where that guy got fired because he was told the Navy that, hey, these.
Oh.
Hey,
okay.
like, and then anyway, it really does look like a bottle of Jack Daniels. Can we get back on? We have to get back on point. Okay, so what's the deal with that? So basically it's not hurting us. That's why all these people are protesting, wanting to get back to work. Like, what's
right.
Come on, try and be smart. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a real. I mean, what's happening is, unfortunately, in this country, decisions are being made on a political basis and a PR basis instead of a scientific basis. And even if it was just made on a scientific basis, I think that people would still be very conservative. But right now, we really don't have good data still, after all this time, don't have good data to make decisions about how to really, decide to, have everybody go back to work or go back to semi-normal. Because what you really want to know is, how many people have been infected already. And I think we've tested, what, about 1 million people? So that's, 0.3% of our population.
Isn't that kind of crazy? After a month, like, is it true that South Korea could test 10,000 people in a day, like drive-through people in a day?
Well,
Or is that not true?
maybe we've tested more than that, because I'm just looking at the total case numbers, and we have, on the CDC website, they're saying we have 690,000 cases. So we must have tested a lot more than that. But it still is, even if we say we've tested 10 times that number, we should be able to find that number. How many tests have been done? Let me see if I can look for that.
All right, but
Well, I don't want to waste time looking for that.
but you can look for it, because you know how to multitask. But it's like nobody really wants to do the testing. Why is that, do you think?
Well, I think people do want. I mean, I absolutely want.
I mean, normal people, but not people that control anything. But like normal, average people do.
Right. No, I think the regular testing, the PCR testing, to tell if people have coronavirus when they're actively sick, there's enough testing capacity in the US now. I don't think I've heard in the last week or so of huge problems with, if you're sick and you want to get tested, you haven't been able to. But that test is really not the one we need right now. We need an antibody test where we're looking for people who've been sick in the past and may not have known it. Say these prisoners, I think it was 700 inmates in this prison, 250 of them tested positive, none of them were sick. But if we tested the other group, the other 450, how many of them would have been, already sick and had antibodies and had already cleared the virus from their body? It's hard to know.
Is there an antibody to antibody test out there, or they have to do? Is that what they're developing right now?
Yeah, that's what they're developing. I mean, I think they're still working on that test. I think there's some things out there, but I don't think they've been shown to be effective yet. Yeah.
No, the Trump lady that gets up there and talks sometimes, she says, no, don't buy the stuff off the internet.
No. And there isn't good, I mean, the problem is there's not really good data for the number of tests, in aggregate, because the testing has been decentralized, meaning, all different hospitals and health centers have been starting to run this test. And I don't think we have an aggregate number of all of the different testing sites. The CDC has tested, it looks like, around 370,000 samples. But
doesn't that still seem kind of low for
it's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. A lot of places, right now, the CDC, you don't want them testing your sample, because you want it being tested exactly where you are. So if you go to a hospital in New Orleans, you want them to test it, not to ship it to Atlanta or a CDC site for them to do the testing. So I think the fact that this number is low is okay, but it's hard to know what the total number is.
Shouldn't the federal government, anyway, I guess that's the political stuff. They should be the ones that are controlling all of this, right? And managing it. Or is this is one of those state issues that?
Well, I mean, I think it's just a reporting issue. I mean, I think what would be great is if there was, if the federal government said, all right, all you states, you should be collecting testing data and then send it all to us, and we're going to aggregate it for the country. Wow. And, I don't see that.
No.
Well, maybe there's a website that does that, but it's not the I can't find it on the CDC. I haven't spent a lot of time looking.
It's almost
There-
like they don't want to know. It's almost like they don't want to know. Hey,
Could be.
Emma, is this the time where you were looking for your smart questions, or were you
Um,
waiting for your
Yeah,
opportunity?
I have a smart question. Yeah. Okay. So like in New York City, we're being now like required to like wear masks like basically everywhere except like maybe outside. But
Yeah.
like, do you think it's actually like gonna do anything? Like, what does a mask actually do?
You know, the only thing that the mask is going to do is, you know, if there are this huge number of people who have the virus but aren't sick, you know, if you're out in public and were you raising your hand to say you have the virus and are
No,
not
I
sick
could have.
too?
I could. I promise you. Like, I can't imagine that I don't.
But I mean, it does stop those people. If you're out and about and you have the virus, you're not sick, and you don't know it, so you don't think there's anything going on, you wear a mask and you're going to stop and trap the virus. Instead of spraying it out all over the place when you breathe, you should trap it in your mask. It may help a little bit, but
As
you know,
a
it depends.
follow-up to that, how much of the virus are you actually spraying out when you're non-symptomatic?
We've been arguing about this a lot.
You know, Bo, that's a great point, and I don't know if scientists have figured it out, but you are, if you have virus in your body, you are putting out a small amount.
Yeah.
We don't know how many. Like if I spray out, you know, 1 million water particles when I talk,
Which is gross.
one of them has a virus.
You should
Is
be
that
doing-
enough? Yeah.
The vampire cough.
Is that enough to get, you know, Tia sick here? I
Well,
don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
scientists don't
Also,
know if one is enough.
If you're talking about that, those masks aren't stopping the virus from going past the mask anyway.
Yeah, if the water droplet is large enough, it'll get
It
caught
is
in the
big.
cloth of the mask.
Okay.
Well,
So
right.
wait, Bo, I've heard this from the ants.
Okay.
So you can either put a coffee filter in the mask or a maxi pad or a panty liner.
No, I get all that, but all right, tell
If
me.
I go out-
I don't
Go ahead,
work with droplet sizes that small, but what
That's-
happens when
that's
we
funny.
have stuff like this, when you have small water droplets going onto a filter, which the mask is, it essentially aerosolizes into smaller droplets when the force of the water hits the filter. And
Yeah, but
Say
there's
the
a good
word
chance
aerosolize. Did you just say aerosolize?
yes,
aerosolized, it's a real word. This.
Tia's my bothers with Tia.
But
Scientists.
But Bo, the thing is, when the water droplet containing a virus hits the mask, there's a good chance that that mask and the fiber of the mask is going to draw the water into it, you know, and that may desiccate the virus. I mean, if it draws the water enough, you may not have a large enough water to then,
okay,
as you
that makes
talk
sense.
or breathe out to blow it past the mask.
That's exactly why I don't worry about door handles too much.
Yeah, but if I have to go out and wear a mask, this is the one I'm going to do.
There you go.
Nice.
That's good.
Wear it right over your head. Wear it right over your head.
In another one, Todd, listen to this one. A friend of mine who I know pretty well put a video out on the YouTube that he's worried about the virus in the freezer. So he's wiping down all his packages in the freezer. Believe it or not, this guy has 6 degrees and a PhD. It's electrical engineering.
He doesn't have them in the right. He doesn't have them in the right.
I said
people
the same thing. 100%. I said the same thing.
Well, what is that deal then, Todd, about the weather and about the temperature? Because that's a big thing that's going on right now. Like supposedly the disease is going to disappear in New Orleans really soon because it's getting hot, right?
It's a difference. Let me answer Bo's question first. Why his friend is so wrong? Because when water freezes, if you remember, it becomes very jagged. It's very sharp, and you have all these ice crystals. That's where crystals come from. So at a molecular level, at a micro level, it's very sharp. And so a lot of times when you freeze viruses in just water or freeze bacteria, the ice will actually slice them apart. Those ice crystals will destroy most viruses there. So if you have just water and a virus particle in it and it freezes, that sucker's dead.
That's what I thought, but
I mean, at least
And how did maggots grow out of my freezer during Katrina?
well, maggots are not viruses.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different.
If ice
You wanna-
crystals, if ice crystals can blow things apart, how come maggots came out of my freezer?
Well, was it on?
No.
Wasn't the
Katrina,
power off?
remember what happened? Yeah. with
Exactly.
Katrina.
So the freezer didn't do anything then.
It
So
wasn't
Sue,
freezing.
do we
Yeah.
want to stay on topic or do we want to really digress?
I was
Or?
just being ridiculous. I don't even remember what my other topic was. Oh, the warm weather. Okay, warm weather.
So scientists still don't know. I don't think we have a really good handle. In warm, dry climates, there's a very good chance in warm, dry climates that the virus is probably going to go down quite a bit.
More.
And in warm, moist climates, it's not quite so clear. Janet and I will change to the couch so she can join.
I have a partial answer for you, Sue. I can do this. The more sun, the better.
Yeah, vitamin D they say is.
No. Forget vitamin D. UV light from the sun is killing the virus. It kills bacteria and things much faster.
Here, I have to turn on a different light. I'll be back.
So that helps too. And
Penny, get Penny. We miss Penny.
a warm, moist environment is raining more, so there's less sun.
Yeah,
Right.
like 'cause in New Orleans it's raining. So
It's
much.
raining so much, so you have less sun during the
Just
day.
for the first time yesterday. It hasn't rained a whole heck of a lot. But I see what you're saying. Is that part of the reason why it lives in your lungs so good? Because it's all moist and wet?
Very moist. Virus loves
Perfect
that.
environment.
Perfect.
Right.
The virus isn't going, I like lungs, it's going, I like a nice moist environment.
Yeah.
And it likes cells that it can jump into and,
What are you doing? Okay. So we don't know, but I mean, it's like SARS. Didn't SARS like go away in the dry weather?
That's why a lot of people are assuming this one will go away as well. And I'm in that group. I think it will go down substantially as things warm up.
And then we'll have another uptick in the fall when it gets colder.
I think it depends. I mean, I think it depends. If it stops circulating altogether, like if it's driven to, or enough people get it, that it kind of dies out and there's not someone, I don't know, in Buffalo who's wandering around, infecting people and they get infected all the way through the summer. There's like a chain of people getting infected all the way through the summer. And then when the winter comes, they go and visit, some other place and then sets it off again. I mean, how does the transmission work, across people?
Oh,
I
don't know.
Well, no, I mean, say, if I'm sick and I give it to Janet, she's going to show symptoms within a week to 2 weeks, but then, she's going to resolve it or she's going to die or something's going to happen. She won't die. But if she, at that point,
on tape.
at that point, she has to infect somebody else and there has to be a chain of people. If that chain is broken, I mean, if there isn't every 2 weeks someone infected somewhere in the US or in the world, that chain gets broken and then the virus has to come from somewhere.
Like New Zealand.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a reservoir somewhere, and that's why, all international travel is really, cut off right now. So, I mean, that's what we don't know. Is if it dies down, maybe there's someone in Greenland or Iceland or Norway, northern Norway, who's going to keep this, this infection going even during the summer months. But that's what we just don't know. So there's a good chance that it's going to die out quite, and especially in some countries, it's going to die down quite a bit. Or it could die out in certain countries. It's just then, they may get reinfected later by someone traveling in.
Yes, Bo?
We can't hear you. You're on mute, Bo. You're making a great point.
I do. A lot of people that I've been seeing and talking to are trying to compare this to 1918 about how this is going to come back. And well, it's not the disease itself, it's sort of the pattern. And I keep telling them, guys, what you're missing here is that travel in 1918 was a whole lot slower than it is now. And the pattern is not going to be the same because now you have instant infections versus the slope. And the reason it peaked up last time is there were some people on a ship somewhere that had the flu, and that when they came into port, spread it again. And that's the issue that
Yeah.
What is the whole myth that it came out of a lab in Wuhan? Like,
It's not a myth, Sue.
Saying that it didn't, right?
I
You
don't
know,
know.
it's the early data, and I haven't seen anything except
cult of
early in
Trump.
January. I haven't seen any additional data. The early data in January was, when the French scientists did some sequencing, there was no evidence that it was man-made, that it was created. But, if it was a natural strain that was being, tested in Wuhan and there was an accident and it got out, that's possible. But I haven't seen any new data since then that would suggest either it was man-made, because I think we'd see it in the sequencing, or if, I don't know how they would prove it got out of the lab in Wuhan other than taking the strains of virus that are in the Wuhan lab, sequencing them, and then comparing them to the ones that infected people. So there's but the Chinese government, I doubt they have any incentive whatsoever to give us the sequence of exactly what's in the
No,
Wuhan
they're not
lab.
even reporting their numbers, right? They're not even reporting their right numbers.
No.
Okay, so Emma,
I thought the mask thing was my smart question.
So
I thought you had more than one. Like,
the other thing, and
put an
the other
S
smart
in the
person,
individual.
All her work has been truncated for this semester. She only needs one question these days.
Yes.
All right, so,
Janet had a
go ahead,
smart
Todd.
question.
Aunt Janet's completely right. I'm sorry for taxing your brain, Emma. I completely forgot. Janet knows. Okay, go, Todd.
And Janet had it wasn't a smart question, but she was reading something smart, and it was about how viruses, actually don't want to kill people. Viruses,
They just want to live in
about it, they want to just infect and replicate copies of themselves. If they kill people, it's a bad way of doing that.
They were saying that some of the people getting it now are showing milder symptoms, and they think that's the virus mutating.
So it doesn't die. Good.
So if you want to get rid of the virus, then you just got to let more people die.
Yeah.
Or
that's
just
what
have more people
Can I-
have more people get a strain, it mutates in your body and it gets weaker and weaker, and just kind of spread it all over. Probably what we're
Well,
doing.
that's like that's the whole deal, right? Because have this economic shutdown right now, but eventually we're going to have to, get brave and go back out into the world, right? And so we can't keep the economy not working, right? So the cult of Trump is all getting together and they're all like shouting to open it up. But what are the safe ways to open up New York now that they're sort of flattened the curve? And I mean, how much longer do they have to not be working? How much longer do we, as a tourist city, how do you make those calls if you are de Blasio or Ms. Cantrell or governors?
So, I mean, I think you're asking a multi-leveled question. You can either answer it politically, PR, or scientifically. From a scientific standpoint, from my standpoint, I would say that we should just go ahead and open it up things back in locations once the healthcare system is not overtaxed.
Yeah.
Once the healthcare system can handle, if there's another wave or something like that, once, the doctors and nurses have had a chance to breathe, rest, get enough PPE and everything they need. Once the healthcare systems in a location are able to handle something, start opening it up. If you get another wave, you may have to close down or, institute, more restrictive things. But otherwise, I don't see any reason to keep things closed, because, the only way, what we're doing right now is trying to protect the really vulnerable people, the people who have pre-existing conditions, the elderly. And we may just need to open up, but then have some, plans in place so that those people can go about their daily lives with less risk.
Like you said, like Todd suggested, Mondays you have to be in an at-risk category to shop,
Right.
or go to work. And so we do 4-day work weeks.
Yeah.
And leave Mondays open for that vulnerable population.
That's
Something
Yeah,
like
the issue with that There's
way
a
too
big
old.
issue with that.
Oh, of course you do.
What if you're 27 years old and have severe lung problems? How,
They're already talking about certifying people for things like that, or for having the antibodies to be already.
good luck with that.
Well, but you could take those people if you're 27 with
You're going to
with
have a
something like
doctor's
that.
note because somebody's
No.
going to have done it.
I
No.
can get a doctor's note right now for just about anything I want.
I'm sure you can, Bo. I am
You
sure
can
you
too.
can.
You can too.
I mean, I'm not even doubting you on that one.
There's always
I
going to
know
be
for
people
almost
cheating
anything,
systems,
too.
but that's no reason not to have systems. There will
Right.
always
I
be
just don't, I'm just going to be super political in this moment, and I just don't see anybody really coming out with any systems. So
Well, but I mean, I think this is where what you do for the at-risk people, once we do have an antibody test, you prioritize the at-risk people to get the test. And you find out whether they have, without them knowing it, they've already been infected and have recovered. And those people then should go back into normal life.
yeah, that's
go
where
with all
Aunt Bobby thinks that she did that. She and Molly, they were really, really sick for weeks. And that's what they think it is. But there's no way to test them right now. So who knows?
Right, but get an antibody test. Let's find out.
Let's find
I have
out.
a question.
That's right.
Okay.
smart question or dumb question.
So I think it's a smart one. So if I'm like walking on the street, right, and I pass someone, is it like, if I don't try and get as far apart from them as possible, like, is there any possibility that I could get the virus? Like, how, like, is it that probable that I'm actually going to pass, like, if passing someone actually going to get it?
It's very, very, I would say it's very, very unlikely,
But it's not
impossible.
Mhm.
Because what happens is if that person's sick and breathes out the virus and it floats to your pinky, and then you like rub your eye with your pinky or stick it up your nose or something,
You're sick, you're dead.
there's a chance you could get it. But I think it's unlikely because most of those, one, they would have to be sick and not know it, or have the virus and not know it,
Or have the virus and not care.
And, and then it has to land on you and then it get into either your mouth, nose, eyes, or, somehow get into your body. So it's very unlikely.
But that's the whole social distancing. It's unlikely, but if you pass 100 people in the half hour, the probability goes up that one of those would.
Yeah, but if it's a 1 in a million,
Yeah.
if it's a 1 in a million shots, it goes up, but it doesn't go up a lot.
No,
If
but
it's a
that's
1
why,
in a
like at
1,000,
concerts or choir practices, it's spreading more when you're crowded in.
Truth. Okay, truth.
that's not a walking in the street.
Yeah, walking down the street.
I'm
Right.
saying it's maybe a 1 in a million if you walk past someone in a split second. If you're sitting next to someone for 2 hours at a concert, that's a little bit of a different exposure.
It's a different exposure. Like hot yoga, if you were in a hot yoga class and some of their hot yoga sweat got on you.
Can it come through farts? Because that's what I noticed at yoga. Can it come through farts? Can you fart
Hot
out?
yoga should not be happening right now is all I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah. When she asked that question, you have to take the smart question sign and turn it upside down.
It's serious. You fart a lot in yoga.
Okay. So, we're learning a lot more than we imagined that we would from Janet in this session today. All right. So are the Native American populations and the little populations in the Amazon, they're like going to get decimated by this, right? Is that like, this is the kind of stuff that just takes people down, right?
Well, they would have the same death percentage as
Yeah.
everyone, I would think.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if everybody in the world, pretty much, except for people who may have gotten the original SARS 10 years or 18 years ago, whenever that was, if everybody had not seen this virus before, then all of us had theoretically the same risk. Now, some factors like the ACE2 receptor that is what the virus tags onto and then enters the cell. If I'm expressing 1 million copies per cell and Emma's expressing 10, my risk is higher. And some people genetically may have more copies of the viral receptor than others. And in some native population or some populations, maybe they don't have the receptor, or maybe everybody of a certain ethnicity has 10 times more of the receptor. You know,
Yeah.
so those kind of things will dictate whether it'll hit certain populations harder.
Yeah, it's really hitting African American.
All our Native American, all the Aboriginal in Australia, all the ones in South America, you wouldn't think all those populations were identical in those ways.
No,
so
they
it wouldn't
shouldn't.
decimate just because they were
Right.
ethnic.
All right. Well, what smart thing can you end our coronavirus session with this time?
Well, you said that, you know, it's decimating the African American population, and there are some underlying conditions that do seem to predispose, like hypertension, things like that, diabetes, and it's, I think that more than genetics is really what.
The same reason that HIV is so, I mean, the population is getting killed right now. Just two huge viruses throughout their population. It's sad.
Yeah, and a lot of that is probably due to the socioeconomic conditions, you know.
Just information and misinformation, the shameful way that we're handling facts and not fact in the world today is just hurting so many people. Like, just unbelievable to me. Anywho, I can't change it. This one podcast is really going to change the way the whole world thinks about the coronavirus. Todd, really appreciate it.
Yeah, three people at a time. Three people at a time.
It's like the virus. You never know. They might pass it on to 3 people, who might pass it on to 3 people, who might pass it on to 3 people. You just never know. You just never know.
That means we don't know what knowledge got in us, right?
So it would be, at this point, when we're flattening the curve and everything, it would be okay for me to drive to Fishville. Like, ultimately, it would be okay for me to
take responsibility for your own decisions and actions.
Exactly. So when you say drive to Fishville, when we talked about this before, when you said you were going to drive there, not stop in Mansura, not see the ants,
not get gas, not get food,
I won't be able to do that. But I mean, I could stop at Mama's. Nobody's been in Mama's since me, right? So it should be a pristine environment that I can make non-pristine, right?
Stop muting it. It's not a big deal.
So no one stopped at the house that you know of.
Truth. It could be ransacked by now. I don't know. Oh, that reminds me. Mr. Bunny died.
Steals something, then goes out and steals something at Aunt Bobby's house and Aunt Pat's house and takes the virus from you when they go to rob it. You've just, killed them.
Oh, come on. You could just go that. You could go to any of those aunts' houses right now and start coughing, and they'd run away, and you could rob them whatever you wanted.
Oh my God! Like, we wouldn't get in the door. Like, Aunt Susie, honest to God, like she won't even open her door. Aunt Bobby can't even go.
Have they been like yelling across from like each other? Like, I'd imagine like they could like they would do
Aunt Bobby can't go through the gate.
They need to Zoom with me, to ask all their questions.
They don't know how to Zoom.
I know.
Neither do our grandparents.
Aunt Meryl might. Aunt Bobby.
I think Meryl's done it.
Yeah.
Putting the Facebook, Meryl's done it.
How that works.
Aunt Meryl has, but Aunt Meryl won't hang out with Aunt Bobby. So I have to figure out how to get that. Aunt Bobby could just call you, right, Todd?
Is anyone living with Aunt Bobby?
Jack.
So he should be able to figure it out.
Probably not.
Have you met Jack? Like,
he's played video games all his life.
He can figure it out. Yeah, he could totally.
He's probably using it for school, so.
But Woody.
Where's Molly living, by the way? From what Todd heard from Bobby, when Todd talked to Bobby, it sounded like she was back with Tate.
What's the expression on Sue's face?
So that is, Todd read that right. Okay.
No comment, but.
Yeah, make sure you edit out this is the family portion of the Zoom.
Oh, nobody watches these things anyway, so. But yeah,
I have a really important question.
Okay.
Do you think Corona is going to have to change the name of the beer?
No.
As you know, I drink that beer.
I know. It's my summer beer also. I'm embarrassed to admit.
I didn't know. I thought I was the family black sheep for drinking that.
Okay, honey, I drink the champagne of beers.
Janet, you are. Don't worry. Sue's the blacker sheep.
All I know is my father made as much fun of it as you did, Bo, for years. Now he occasionally has it for breakfast. Something about dementia. I don't know.
Yeah, I say go for it. Go for it. Drink it whenever you want.
Wait, hold on. You didn't say anything about Corona being breakfast. Corona is a great breakfast food.
It is a great. With a Bloody Mary, you really can't go wrong. You
Oh,
really.
yeah, he has a Hostess honey bun with it.
Okay, okay, Todd, this is some of the stuff that's coming online for me for the corona to be preventative. Drink alcohol, not joking. Drink alcohol. I got stuck on the drink alcohol for a second. Exercise, B12, sunlight, vitamin D, and vegetables, and always vegetables, and more protein. So that's all BS is what you're saying. So
No, I think eating right and exercise definitely help your immune system. So you want your immune system in peak form. So eating right and exercising, do it. B12, I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything unless there's an immune boosting component to that. Alcohol, I think it'll help with some of the problems that coronavirus and staying hooked up with your family, unless you have someone as great as Janet, which is not hard to stay with all the time.
I've got Steve, so it's pretty close. Pretty darn close.
Now I'm insulted. I mean, we had that discussion.
What to do with that? I don't know what to do with that.
In college, on a spring break in Mexico at Isla de Mujeres, we had the discussion about why some of us got Montezuma's revenge when we've been having so much alcohol that it should have killed any germs. And we decided that too much alcohol must get your white blood cells drunk too. So that was our scientific college discovery.
Oh, well, I think too much alcohol is not good. Like it's not.
In the beer down
but
there.
moderation, I think it's, I don't know. Just so you.
It is in moderation, but it's going to help you relax and probably take some of the anxiety out of the situation. But I don't think it's going to kill much of the virus. No.
Okay. All right. So any last smart stuff for us till next week?
No.
I don't think anything else. Although, just continue to not listen to the president to take any scientific or medical advice. That's my best, closing.
I'll expand that to any politician. My saying for years has been, when science and politics meet, science always loses.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or should always lose.
No, it should not. It should always win.
But it
should always win.
Yes.
Hey.
Always loses.
Anything else, Emma?
I'm out of smart. Oh, we started driving today.
Woohoo! Where?
Right.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to my dad's work parking lot. We
Perfect.
bounced around.
And did you press the accelerator this time?
Yes.
Very good.
Just a little bit though. We weren't going fast. It was a parking lot.
We made turns and everything.
Yeah, we made turns. We broke.
Did you reverse the parking spot?
We did reverse too. I learned how to back out in a parking spot.
Awesome. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fun. And Caitlin got nervous when a car came. No, Dad yelled. I did not get nervous.
You still got nervous.
No, I didn't freak out. I just kind of drove off the side a little bit. It was fine.
The two of you will know you're ready when one of you's driving, your dad and the other get out of the car and stand where the parking entrance to the parking space is, and the other person has to drive in between the other two people.
That's a little.
No. Never do that.
We're going to make the scones tomorrow. It's Todd's official day off.
They were so good. They were really good.
They looked excellent. They looked really good. And the Harvey Wallbanger was not good, I heard.
I didn't like it.
I
loved it. I loved
what?
The orange, the fake orange tastes are only my thing. I loved it.
Wait, what was that? The orange thing?
The Harvey Wallbanger cake.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a big rum caker.
I've got to figure out another recipe for that.
But Mom left out 2 steps in that recipe. Did you use Mom's recipe or did you use one from the internet?
I used Mom's.
Yeah, I think she left out two steps in that thing. Like at the
2 steps.
I can't remember. I have to look at the recipe, but I remember her telling me and laughing under her breath about it. Like there are quite a few of those recipes that she left out some steps. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know why she did it.
To preserve the mystery of her cooking.
Well, no, you're supposed to know basics, I think, or something like that. Like, I don't know what I made. I think, Oh, hey boys, come talk to Uncle Todd about my meatballs. Right now. Come here.
You didn't leave anything out of the meatball recipe, did you?
Oh my God. I have heard about your damn meatballs for years, I feel like.
He makes good meatballs.
Ow. Okay, tell him. Tell Uncle Todd.
They were good.
They were the best ever, or
No,
they
wait.
were good?
What? What?
They were good.
Let's see the hair. Let's see the hair.
Some of your meatballs.
He goes, "It's
How
so
was the gravy that went with the meatballs?
It was good.
good."
What?
That's good.
So Todd doesn't ever need to make them for you anymore?
Get over here. Get over here.
IKEA has good meatballs too.
Out of your family,
I did say
dummy.
hi.
They have awesome meatballs.
You
They
have
don't have
a
good
smart
ones. They have amazing.
We don't live near an IKEA anymore.
Okay,
You're
so Todd,
lost.
I
You
feel
know.
like yesterday I made a good meatball finally. I think that's one of those recipes where mom didn't say, hey, put a little bit of some mushroom soup in it.
We don't put mushroom. He doesn't put mushrooms.
It helps with the gravy, though. If you put
But
a
you don't-
mushroom
but you
soup,
don't
it does help
actually
with the
do
gravy.
that.
No, but it does. It's an easy way
It's a
of
cheating
making
thing,
a
yeah.
good
But they say also to eat shiitake mushrooms. That helps with your immune system.
Wow.
Man, I don't
It's-
know. I'm just
making
telling
it.
you what the quackers say on the stuff that I read. I try to
What do
prep for
they
these
say
things.
about the 5 cellular towers,
5G.
5G.
I'm completely lost. What 5G?
You don't know that 5G is spreading the virus? You're not reading the right sites.
Oh no, I'm not reading those sites. I tend to read Fox News. That's like my favorite site to read. Fox News. I really enjoyed the Fox News where they did the one in Ohio where they had they compared the zombie apocalypse Shaun of the Dead to the people trying to get into the courthouse in Ohio. Did y'all see that picture?
No, that's kind of funny.
That's
Pretty
hilarious.
good.
Dawn of the Dead was a great
funny.
movie.
Right.
Great.
So they did the screenshot for that, and then those people trying to get
I
into
just love the fact that a whole place full of guns can't get through glass doors.
right.
It's amazing to me.
If you wanted when you look at those pictures of the people protesting, you're like, okay, I've seen that kind of gathering when I was growing up, and wow, those are not good people when they get together.
It's funny.
Zombies.
I just noticed that Baskin Robbins had their door wide open to them. I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah,
Some of the
mean,
pictures.
2 for 1, Janet.
I'm telling you, they have pointy little white hats, people, and tiki torches. Those kind of people. It's not good.
Todd, on a wackier science question, do you know the guy? I can't remember his name. It's a French dude, starts with an M. He won a Nobel Prize that thinks that DNA emits EM radiation.
DNA emits EM radiation. I haven't heard this one.
You haven't look up that and the 4th state of water if you want to go down a rabbit hole of fun.
Okay.
No, this guy that thinks DNA, it's basically, to me, I describe it as the homeopathy of DNA, where you dilute it and it emits EM radiation. He won a Nobel Prize. This guy is not.
Not for this, though, I assume.
Not for that.
No, not for this. No.
I know you're Googling it right now, Janet. I know you're Googling it right now.
But
So
Todd,
the
I'm
fourth
just gonna
state of
say,
water, is that heavy water, deuterium, or no?
no, it has to do with molecules quantum tunneling under a certain pressure, and it's an actual semi theory that's people are using for. It's a rabbit hole that it's fun to go down.
Okay, I'll take a look.
yeah, I won't take a look.
I won't either.
I'm not going to look at that. So Todd, I've been telling everybody that you told me a few years ago that everything comes down to how hydrated your cells are, right? That if you have really good hydrated, not everything, but if you have really good hydrated cells, it's hard for them to get attacked, or they get attacked, they can fight anything that attacks them. Is that true or is that false?
No, I don't think.
So you're providing a warm, moist environment for corona infections.
I don't think that the hydration matters in terms of infection or not infection. I mean, once again, general health. I think you can have inflammation issues if you're not hydrated enough, and your body starts doing weird things if you get dehydrated. So being hydrated, sufficiently hydrated, is a good thing health-wise. But I don't know if there's a link to coronavirus infection and hydration.
Disinfection in general, like fighting off any kind of infection. I guess just staying healthier. If your cells are healthy at a molecular level, you'll be more.
Your immune system is in better shape. That is true.
Got it. Okay. All right, and I can still say that white blood cells are like your soldiers of your body. Can I still say that, or is that not true? That's true. Okay.
That's why you can't get the white blood cells too drunk.
I love how we always come back to the liquor with you, Janet, right now. You're really giving me a solid right now. All right, ladies, Caitlin, I just want to say that if we were taking score, you would be down there with Nico right now with smart questions. So,
No, you didn't. I could have sworn. No, you didn't.
like, did you ask a smart question? Like, could you try? Like, could you?
Next time, I'm going to be the smart person. Emma's not going to talk, I swear. No, I will.
Okay, so, and Sebastian's the person that's leading this whole thing. Nico, you're right, Nico.
Yeah,
Are they still there?
They're watching YouTube videos of people playing video games.
They've done that for
I
years.
don't get it.
That's ridiculous. It's
So
the
many
most,
people do that in my school.
I don't understand. Like one of those things I don't get.
But they've probably done that 5 or 6 years now, at least, huh?
Yeah, they continue to do it. Either that or like fishing videos. Like Nico
watches fishing videos. We caught him watching a video of like someone gutting a fish.
Right, or like the giantest worm ever discovered, or the biggest boa constrictor found in a sewer in Miami. Like that's what he watches. Here I am thinking he's on these sites that are not appropriate, and then I realized no, it's redneck rate. It's redneck channels.
Should I send him the YouTube video of the person pulling the worm out of the eyeball?
Oh!
Seen it, like I think that he watched it nonstop for about a week. Nonstop for a week, he watched it.
Now, you guys, have you closed school for the year or not?
Yeah.
Not officially, no.
Yeah.
It's
Not officially for us.
Official.
But I think
If de Blasio officially said it, then Cuomo was like, no, you can't do that. So they've been
Cuomo's picking fights with everybody. It's awesome.
But Louisiana has not done it either, because your schools would normally be out in like 2 weeks, right? In Louisiana, would these schools be over in like 2 weeks?
We're closed until the 16th. So May 16th.
When's the normal end of your school year?
The 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean,
These guys have to the end of June 30th to get back.
This is Louisiana, Janet. This is Louisiana. So like, and everywhere in the country, trying to get their graduates graduated, right? And what are they going to do about graduating the 2020s? So a lot of this is like Nico's missing his bridging ceremony from 5th to 6th grade. So they're going to try and see. Yeah, I
scheduled for where I taught in Reading. They've gone ahead and scheduled the graduation in August.
Yeah, and that's what I think that we should do, but we don't know what we're doing. Like everybody, we have not recovered from shock well. You know, I think everybody's finally, in my opinion, I don't know if this is true or not, but being an American is very tiring, you know, just living in our world. And so I think that this RonaCation has actually helped people's mental state, like, and forced them to slow down and maybe calm down a little.
There's an awful lot of people that don't have anybody else in their house with them.
I'm not saying that that's true across the board, Janet, at all. I'm saying with my contemporaries, the people like me, and, you know, that I am friends with, it's kind of calmed my people down, but I know that that's not the case for everybody. But I don't know. I can't believe I have a job, so I'm not going to complain too much.
They said child abuse cases have gone down like 80% in the reporting in the Boston area, and they're convinced it's because there's no reporters that are able to say this is what's going on in houses.
Yeah.
Because they're not having medical appointments, they're not seeing teachers, so they're actually very scared about that big drop.
Yeah.
Can anybody explain why heart attacks and strokes are down tremendously during this time?
Ain't nobody going to the hospital.
No, but if you have a heart attack, trust me, you're going to the hospital.
I don't know.
So it's kind of weird. And my theory was the people that are going to have those heart attacks and strokes anyway are the ones going to the hospital with coronavirus.
Coronavirus, that could be.
It's the only thing.
Because it's the same age population.
It's one of these weird statistics that their heart attacks and strokes for admittance are way down.
True. I mean,
yeah, because there was one of the comorbidities in the New York Times.
There's 3 of them that are heart disease.
No, but there was one that we were saying we couldn't believe was related to the virus.
Oh,
Like, at the same time. Yeah.
oh.
What are you doing? Caitlin's watching
Ah.
this video of this girl
Watch
cutting her
this.
veins.
Show it if they can see it. She's just cutting her own hair like that.
But someone's taking a video and watching her do that.
She's taking her own. She's taking a video.
Taking her own video.
Yeah.
Okay, well, family, this has been another rousing session of Dr. Todd Knows Everything. Really appreciate it, Dr.
One more
Todd.
question for you, Sue.
Uh-oh.
You sell the office yet?
No.
No
Are
one's
the estate agents even open?
Is Mr. Carey? Have you talked to Mr. Carey?
Ain't nobody talking to me right now, y'all. Ain't nobody talking to me right now. Ain't nobody talking to me right now. All right. But I will put the sign up, Bo, as soon as I get up there. Let's just see what happens.
It's like a hedge trimmer he's using. Holy cow.
Okay.
Hair cutting video.
All right.
Hedge trimmer. Bye.
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 Love you.
Are your
Bye,
mom
Bo.
and dad still with you, Janet?
Yeah,
Yep.
How are they doing?
they're doing okay, and I'm trying to stay sane.
You're doing well. Like, I think that you look sane. You know, I don't know if I'd know if you looked insane, but you look sane.
Am I sane?
I would look bad if she was insane.
Okay, truth.
I'm on that border, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, of course you are. It's hard. I know how hard it is. It's hard. Well, at least you have Penny. Like, that's a,
Hey, Ollie.
We have Ollie. We were only supposed to have Ollie for 2 weeks, but we can't get him back to her.
have you even gone back up to Boston, Todd?
Nope. It's been 50 days. Tomorrow is 50 days here.
He's made it to the airport twice, and his plane has started boarding twice.
Well, I mean, is it hard for you to do your job? I guess it is.
He's got to go in anyway.
And, you know, I mean, it's not that difficult. I mean, I'm, you know, calling into meetings, I'm reviewing documents, I'm talking to my staff that is going. I have a couple of people going into the lab and doing experiments, and we're doing work in Japan, and Singapore shut down, and Japan may soon, but Japan's still working. So there's things we can do. It's not hot and heavy. And we're also doing year-end reviews, so reviewing from last year. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of that kind of bureaucracy to go through. So there's
That's
still stuff to do.
That's grabby. Well,
We're sick of the same clothes, though, because most of our clothes are up there.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're sick of a lot of things. Well, hopefully you'll be able to go up there, in the next 2 weeks? Do you think 2 weeks?
We'll see.
It depends.
They're saying they're hitting their peak this weekend.
Yep.
We're just surging right now. We just went into third place, woohoo, behind New York and New Jersey this weekend.
Yeah.
For per capita cases.
That's because you got so many damn rednecks that watch Fox News.
It's also because it's a very
No,
dense, it's
yeah.
a dense population in Boston.
Oh yeah, I was thinking
Oh,
about
it's
New York. I was thinking about North Carolina.
North Carolina has very few.
Yeah, we've had like under 200 deaths in the state.
Yeah, we're not having a lot here at all.
Well, that's a
We've got, knock on wood. But, fewer than, we've had like 5,000 cases. Maybe it's gone up, and fewer than 200 deaths.
wow.
It shut down. North Carolina shut down very quickly.
Yeah, we have. I think it's 65% of the people that have died here are African Americans. Like, we had a couple that died holding hands in the ICU last week.
I saw that.
Sad. Oh well, like, I don't know. That's why I'm kind of ready to just go. Like, I feel like we really need to, like, I'm not going to protest with the rest of those tiki torch mofos, but I must say that I'm kind of ready to say, let's do it. Like, we got to the worst part. Let's open up and let's get back to business.
As soon as the hospitals are ready for it in your location, you should open back up.
Yeah.
That's personal opinion.
I agree. Like, and I don't think that politically, I think it's going to be a huge fight. Like,
Because as soon as you suggest that, you want to kill people and you're horrible.
yeah. So I don't know, or I don't know.
How are your 3 people doing without soccer?
Horribly. I would not say they, not Todd, Steve takes them out like to do training, but, and they've seen their coach, like training with their coach once or twice, but, they're really lazy, and they're kind of really, as you can tell, they can't even get off their iPads long enough to come and hang
But
out.
they're not missing it, though. They're
Yeah.
liking the break.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't they? They don't have to do anything.
I didn't know if they were missing playing though.
I don't think that they even remember what it was like to play. Maybe if they could get an AI device to wear and pretend to play soccer, I don't know. That might get them active. Tell you this, it's going to be hard to invest thousands of dollars back into them once we get back after the RonaCation. Like, Mr. I'm super excited about soccer and I'm really devoted to soccer, so let's spend thousands of dollars for you to get better at soccer, kind of drying up.
Off seasons. The only ones that don't have off seasons are American youth.
So Janet, I'm not buying it. Like, honestly, if there was like Chariots of Fire going on here and they were super excited about, and they were outside dribbling, it'd be easy to invest $3,000 in going to the UK, but really not feeling it right now.
Well, I don't think Sabo has any more UK chances, right? He's
No, this is Nico. Like, Sebastian's done. Like, he knows he has to pay for everything, but even poor Nico, it's kind of like, what's the point of all of this? Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to want to go outside and get 200 dribbles or juggles or whatever the hell they're called every hour, 2 hours. And like, that's not Ronaldo as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's not the Ronaldo attitude that I'm looking for.
Have all the camps been canceled, or are some of them still
I don't
happening?
know. Steve still thinks that there's some kind of state cup thing that could be happening for them. I don't know.
But what about camps?
Sebastian, camps, I don't know. I don't know how many. I don't think camps are making any like predictions, or I don't think they're doing anything right now. I think everybody's just stalled. Everything is just frozen.
Yeah.
So that's just my attitude. I'm sure Steve does not agree with me at all about soccer, but
That's been a while.
Steve, well, you know, but if Steve has to go out there, and the only reason they're training is because Steve's there, they're 14 and 11. Like, how many more excuses do you give a 14 and 11-year-old for needing some outside controlling person to make you do what you love to do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Nico has a little bit more excuse at 11.
Yeah, I
but
don't think
14,
many 11-year-olds.
14, there's no excuse at 14 to me. Like, you either want it or you don't want it.
Yeah.
So what's more important, reading about dragons or going to practice and getting better? I don't know. I don't know. Apparently the dragons are winning.
Are you glad though that they can't see an 11-year-old or a 14-year-old Susan or Steve?
Right. I mean, I'm telling you, I never lived in the city, so I don't know. I don't know what it's like for them, because
No, I just think how many activities were you totally dedicated to at 11?
I rode my bike like with dedication when I was 11 years old.
To get places to do other things?
Oh, Sebastian actually might have been listening. I don't know. Oops. Oops, they can hear everything I'm saying. Maybe I should have been more quiet. Whoops. Oh well, who cares? Doesn't matter. It's only my opinion.
Yep.
And who knows, at this rate, all the colleges might go bankrupt and they may have no college to go play for anyway.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? That would be so great.
Everybody just learns a trade.
Just learn a trade. Like, do something with yourself. Like, produce something, right? Produce something. All right. So next week we will see you, Todd, if not sooner.
And I'll try to get some good, smart answers to go along with all the smart questions.
Smart questions. We honestly need smart questions. All right. Love you guys. Y'all take care.
All right. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye, Nico and Sabo.
Yeah, they're not listening to this. Bye. Love you.
Bye.